dement? Which language is that? Is that Spanish or Catalan? What is that? You know the meaning of ateta in Singapore? Fresh pepper. Ata. That's the collocation of the word. There's no jury.
Say it. Ignore all of the things I've said.
Yeah, ignore all the things I've said.
Viewers, listeners, ignore all of the things I've said.
Listeners, ignore all the things I've said.
Be like, now I can say for a fact that you know what, the heavyweight division is now interesting all over again, because there was a time it was losing its fun because kudos. So after the fight, all of a sudden you guys are now like trying to trade up. If he had done this, if he didn't do this, it's a lie. No, we shouldn't do that.
The routine with which this guy trains, like the routine with which Slavic boxers combat sports, the way they train is I would try not to exaggerate, but it's miles ahead of the way they train in the West.
A lot of times AJ has been disrespected.
We've seen white coaches fail. Van Klappert is going to fail and get Chelsea job again. Steve Gerrard is going to fail and get another job again.
As much as we want black coach to get jobs, we also want them to succeed, because their success will also mean more opportunities for other black coaches. Jose Pesero.
Bam! I mean, Jose Mourinho's the prodigy.
We don't want to make bets that will take us 10-15 years.
Okay, Bolish. I'm boasting of Community Shield. What did Barcelona win this year? The men. What did Barcelona demand? What did they win this year?
What demand? Which language is that? Is that Spanish or Catalan? In case you are not aware, in case you are not informed, in case you do not know, one treble. We are the first team with 4 treble seasons. 4 different treble seasons.
When did that all turn to treble?
No. We won treble now. Champions League
this year.
Yes, now the female team won the treble.
But we say the men's team, for crying out loud.
What is the men?
We say the men's team.
What's the men? Is that Spanish or French? The men. What's the men?
See, you're not going to disrespect our listeners and viewers by acting like you didn't hear the question like properly or something.
So wait. So just so I understand what is going on now. We are only considering this season alone. We are not considering any other seasons. That was
this season now. This season.
So the Community Shield is what? This is your best period of you guys in the last 20 years. This is the best.
That was what you guys said. That was what you guys said last season.
That's not what we said.
Wait, that was what you guys said last. Wait, I'm going somewhere. You want me to answer that?
Wait.
That was what you guys said.
Wait, guys. I'll give you this thing now. So our listeners and viewers out there, before I let these two take off the gloves and go off, it's None About Nothing podcast. Bolish and Akin are in the house, as you can see or hear, whichever way you like to get your podcast. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Akin, go on. You have the floor.
You said this is our best season yet. I don't understand. Like, you guys said the same thing last season, and but by the time the season finished, I'm talking about like the 2022-2023. They were like, oh, let's see if they can actually replicate this season that just went. I'm talking about the 2023-2024. And I think I'm tired at this stage, to be honest. It seems as if they are all thinking that it's never possible to replicate that kind of success. I mean, you see a pattern, you see a trend. They are improving with regards to the previous season. And yet people are still waiting and saying, oh, this is the season yet. See, I'll consider a season great when we start winning trophy. Like I said, trophy is the hallmark of like success, or that you have a successful season. Obviously, the me saying the Community Shield was merely a bant, obviously, just so I can fight back people like Bolish and people like Bright that is not on this podcast, which is so sad to hear about. But the bottom line still, I don't want people thinking like, we don't have like, what's the word? We are satisfied. No, that is not the point. The point means that, as with anything in this life, there has to be like an evidence of like, oh yes, you are successful. And in football, in soccer, that is the trophy. That's a trophy. That has to be like a notable trophy, actually. And that's the only thing that can actually cement our place or cement the fact that we played good football. Yeah.
So, objection. Look, I'm not. See, when I say your successful season, I mean in the last 20 years, the stretch of football you guys have played. This is one of the best you guys have done in the last 20, in like maybe since maybe 2006, 7, 8. After 2008 till now, this is like the best. These last 2 years is the best stretch of football you guys have played. I'm not talking about the success. I'm talking about the kind of football you guys are playing. And I'm not saying you guys not play this kind of football next year. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. Obviously, the squad is actually built to play quality football for the next 4 years. You know, make tweaks, additions. Saliba, most of your players are 23, 24, 25-year-old players that, they are obviously upcoming players. You have the funds to probably go and get a proper 9 and, make some tweaks here and there. We are not talking about that. But I'm saying we both agree that in the last 3 years is at least some of the best football you guys have played in the last 20 years. Or we don't agree to that.
No. I mean, like I said, we agree. I'm only saying like the hallmark of success is still like.
Yeah. No. I agree with you that the hallmark of success is winning trophies. But I just want to clarify that for your team, Arsenal, the Gunners FC, this one of the most successful part of your reign as a club for the past.
By whose standard? By Bolly's standard, Abi.
By Arsenal fan standard, you guys pump your chest from like November.
So by saying by Arsenal standard, like let me where the Arsenal fans are neither like the management or the coach or even the player.
Forget about management, coach. We are not in the management dressing room. The question I'm going to ask you is that when was the last time Arsenal fans felt like they could win the league in the last 15 years?
No,
that they felt like okay.
They felt like
we had to win the league.
They felt like that last season. They felt like that this season that just ended.
Yeah, so
it's just back to what my response before you say you object is that okay, now there seems to be like a pattern, like, and with each pattern, with the trend going right now, they believe it's getting stronger. Like they are winning back the fan base. You understand? And you Barcelona that used to be like the biggest club, that used to be a big club, and maybe the likes of the Real Madrid club, you can sense that the fan base are only strong because of the football that they watch. I mean, if their teams are playing, I'm going somewhere. Okay. I'm going somewhere. I'm saying like there was a time whereby there was like a disconnect between the club and the fan base. I'm talking about Arsenal in this sense. And now it's just good to see that, okay, we can have something to cheer about. Like, you know what, okay, yeah, though the season didn't end with a trophy, but they are convinced that the football has changed. Like they are fighting, they are competitive, they're once again competitive in that sense. Now everybody's even looking forward to the next season compared to the reigns of like Arsene Wenger. I'm not saying Arsene Wenger didn't do a good job, but there was a time that we were like saying, please, if only we can actually be in the top 4. Do you get? So the mentality is changing. Even the fan base are now like, the expectations are high within the fan base. Like I can tell that, you know what, everybody are having like opposing opinions within the fan base itself. Some people are having asking for Arteta's head in the sense that they feel like, you know what, he should be able to like bury teams. But what they fail to realize is this: he has only just been an assistant coach. He has made a lot of mistakes, and it is typical for that kind of coach. But then back to what's called Xabi Alonso did in Bayern Leverkusen now. Now they're having every reason to like debate and say, oh, what is Arteta's excuse?
No, the conversation has delved from where it was.
No, it is still within the same. See, it's leading away, but it is leading to another thing to talk about.
We're not doing autopsy of Arsenal season. Is that what we are doing now? I want to understand.
No, it's going to lead to that at some point. To be honest, like it's one question.
MIT is yet. You are not yet. Yeah, you are not yet. We are not yet at the point where the medical corona will come out and start doing autopsy. And even if you want to do autopsy, you cannot allow biased what's it called? We cannot allow you to be the one doing the. We cannot allow you to be the corona now. How can we allow the brother of the dead person or the cousin of the dead person to come and examine the body? How will the person be able to concentrate and give the right?
The last time I checked,
wait.
we are all podcasters on this podcast.
Wait.
There are no corona.
What I'm saying before we start going into the autopsy of how yours was just the first thing before we get to that point, the first thing is that I'm saying I wanted to bounce you guys as well. There's no need because you guys are actually our younger brothers. But in the worst season, in the worst period of our
I can't wait for the next topic.
No, in the worst period of Barcelona's existence, we call for the sack of our president that you are a useless person, go away. We left our stadium because they have to renovate the stadium. We could not sign player. We were doing 1-to-1. We were selling grass in our stadium to make ends meet. All the players we signed for like the last 2 years, 90% of them are free transfer. We are begging everybody. Even though wait.
You didn't give me that courtesy. No, I won't allow you. You didn't give me that courtesy. You're going about saying all of these excuses. All to get your points.
Wait. I'm not trying to.
You won't play that double standard now.
I'm not.
Me agree for you. I won't allow you talk. I won't allow you talk until you say all of those things don't matter.
Let me round it up.
Until you say all of those things I've said to the viewers, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying.
Say it again.
It does not matter.
Say after me.
It does not matter.
Listen, say after me. For the things I have said, please ignore all of the things I've said.
There's no jury.
Say it. Ignore all of the things I've said.
Yeah, ignore all the things I've said.
Viewers, listeners, ignore all of the things I've said.
Listeners, ignore all the things I've said. But where I'm driving at that, in the worst era of our club, we still won the league.
Was it this season? You won the league. Was it this season?
We won the league last season. Oh. If you guys won the league last season,
I wanted you to expatiate.
Your chest should be. It will not be here. Your chest should be here.
But let's be honest. If you compare coach to coach, Xavi to Arteta, okay, Xavi won his first trophy in his first this season. I mean, this guy
you know the difference.
He won his first trophy in the first season.
Wait. Don't you know? That's how you put yourself in trouble. Okay, you understand? If that's how you put yourself in trouble. Well, I was even going to say you cannot be comparing what Arteta is doing in Arsenal with what Xabi Alonso is doing in Bayern and in Bayern Leverkusen, because the Leverkusen task, Bayern has not gotten themselves this season. And yes, Alonso did a fantastic job, but we've seen situations whereby other managers have done fantastic job, but a coach in Bayern will be top notch and they will eventually win the league. Arteta will have won at least one league title in the last 2 years if the greatest manager of all time was not coaching on the other side. Even with the players that are available to City, if Pep was not the one handling that team, Arteta will have at least won one league title. So I'm not trying to. This conversation is not about discrediting Arteta or or crediting And mind you are trying to compare Arteta and Xavi. The mistake you're making is that this is Arteta's 6th year. This is 6th year now. And he's had enough time to mold and remold and sign and do all the things he wants to the squad. Xavi came in when the club was 9th position, took them to second season, the first full season, won the league, won a Super Cup. So you guys have 2 minutes to wrap this up. And they didn't give me a transfer budget to improve the squad like Arsenal did to buy Declan Rice for 140 million. I don't want
to hear that thing. You guys are the cause of your own problem. You cannot say a club as big as Barcelona would rely on the fact we say for once that they didn't give them the transfer. They didn't give him the transfer.
We are saying the same thing that we are having financial crisis and we still
Barcelona is such a big club. Listen. Barcelona is such a big club that you cannot give an excuse. Possible. I can't take that. Barcelona cannot be giving an excuse at this stage.
What
You
is
know
Barcelona?
how big of a club Barcelona is.
You
What are
think
you
they can
saying?
arrange to match 140 million? You
What
think
are
you
you
not win the
saying?
league?
What are you saying? I mean,
We are saying the same thing now.
Did I send you guys message?
With all our problems, we still won the league last season. You, with all your prosperity, and Ateta with 6 years, he cannot win the league once. I mentioned Ateta. What is that? You know the meaning of Ateta in Singapore? Fresh pepper. Ata. That's the collocation of the word. What is Ateta?
Wait. This podcast is turning out to be just banter. We are not being serious anymore. We are not analyzing serious things.
Now because you are the one that brought up the Ateta Xavi conversation. And if we are going to have that conversation, we have to be very, very logical about it. You cannot just say, oh, in the blanket statement, what did Ateta do in his first 3 seasons at Arsenal? Where was he finishing in the league? Is this not the first season you guys went to Champions League since Ateta came there? That means he was finishing less than 4th. So what are we talking about? You guys want to pump up Ateta? Yes, Ateta. Normally I even like Ateta. I'm not going to rather.
And do you know the kind of squad he started with? See, and this is one of the reasons why I don't agree with Bullish. This is one of the reasons why I don't agree with Bullish. Listen, Bullish is all about. He started with mentioning all of this excuse and the kind of transfer deals they had to do, the kind of players they had to. That were no longer performing or any sort or their financial missions or whatever. No one is doubting that fact. But people fail to realize, they keep mentioning that, oh, Ateta has been there 6 years. But nobody mentioned that the fact that, you know what, for the first few years, 3 or 4 or so, it was all about like the players he had at his disposal could not deliver on the kind of football he wanted to play.
So Xavi that could deliver.
Wait. He's not. Wait.
I'm not having this conversation because you brought up Xavi Ateta. I'm not even against Ateta. I like Ateta. That's why I even mentioned that you can't compare.
You don't like Ateta. You cannot gaslight us. No, don't do that. Don't gaslight us. You just called Ateta fresh pepper.
Yeah, in Singapore.
So all this. So I like Ateta. I like that. Don't do that. Let's not do that.
Ateta is the La Masia boy. Ateta is the La Masia boy. What you people fail to understand is that Ateta as he is like that. Even when you hear his interview and he's talking about, even the last interview he did with Guillem Ballard, he still talked about his love for us, Barcelona, how that was his roots. So I can't like be 100% like say, okay, the way I hate someone like, do I dislike someone like Mourinho, for example, or do I dislike Chelsea, for example? I can't dislike Arsenal because, to be honest, you guys are our younger brothers. To be honest, if we analyze, we take a break, we break it down.
Aki, your mic is. I can't hear you.
But Wale, please, I think if this is. I don't think this is an argument that Arsenal are actually Barcelona's younger brothers.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize my mic was off.
Anyway, guys, you guys have had your.
No. Before you do, guys, wait. I have to ask you a question.
I will remove you guys from this.
Before you go on, I have to ask you a question so that we'll move on. It's a question, and I want to see if the way you just tackle me that I don't answer the question. I want to see in your church mind, not your promiscuous mind or the mind you used to do all that rubbish. The church mind, the one that God is present there. If they ask you. You, I'm asking you. Okay. Aki is not promiscuous. You are the one that's promiscuous. In your church mind, if they ask you in Barcelona and Arsenal, is Arsenal's Barcelona's younger brother? What will you say? In the grand scheme of things, church mind, just free your mind and answer.
Sometimes the fact that you are the elder brother does not mean you should keep reminding them every time that you are the elder brother. Sometimes you just need to relax. You understand?
Go ahead.
Please adjust your camera. Akin, we can't hear you. Adjust your camera properly.
There's a time that a brother turns to Agbaya, and that's where Barcelona are right now. They don't know how to manage money. Imagine you're giving your elder brother where you are. That's where you are. Agbaya.
In last 2 years, you have not seen the league.
Agbaya, you guys have no morals anymore. You've lost.
You guys know that
you have no morals. You guys, man. Let
Do
me
you
just
know?
off this mic for now.
Don't off it. I want to hear your voice.
The mic say tired. Begin the echo because when I just dey talk rough.
When it don't sorrow.
Oh my God.
When it don't sorrow. When it don't sorrow.
Please,
Welcome, Daniel. Welcome.
You should know I have a boatload. I have a boatload of arguments against you this night. So don't even go there. Like,
to think
don't
Bright,
open the canker of water.
to think Bright was depressed over the last 10 months. All of a sudden he's shining his teeth because he won a trophy
Depressed. I'm not
Manchester
depressed.
United.
I'm not depressed. I'm not depressed. 1, 2. I am not even joyous. For everybody that knew me, like sincerely, like I'm not the kind that will now be saying, hey, man, you don't win FA. But I am also not the kind that will be celebrating second position every chance I get.
No, clearly. Banter, no wala.
Elemege, slow down. You came late. Now you are throwing jabs from the back.
No, it's just like I would love it to be known that I came prepared. So there's like so
please, we have a lot to discuss. Bolish and Aki have spent the last 25 minutes going at each other's throats over what. Anyway, they promised to go at it tonight, so they've had their fun. Can we move on now, please? Akin, just accept that he's your elder brother, he's Agbaya. Do you understand? It's fine. And don't compare Arteta to this thing, Alonso. Alonso is in a different situation. Those Arsenal fans that are saying Alonso has won the league, he's in Bundesliga. Do you get? Competition is, you're not playing Frankenstein Monster in Man City. If Man City were in Bundesliga, Alonso will not win it. So let's just get that out of the way. Do you get? I think the best place to start before we continue to...
I thought we started now.
No, I think no. The best way to start another session after your bout between the both of you is to continue. Let's just focus on bouts and boxing itself, because Aki, I don't know if you saw the fights last week Saturday. It's initially when Usyk decided, you know what, I'm going from cruiserweights. I've beat these people up in cruiserweight. I'm going to heavyweights. A bit Tony Bellew, a bit Chisora. A lot of people were like, yeah, those guys are not really strong. You're not really good. Like, you can't really fight against AJ and Fury because it's the heavyweight category. And there's a reason why there's only one person that has gone unbeaten throughout that category, throughout his career. So one punch can send you night and you're gone. So a lot of people felt, you know what, at some point it's going to be found wanting. It's not as big as them. It doesn't weigh as much as they do. So after beating Joshua twice, then the next opponent was obviously Fury to unify the bouts, to unify all titles. It got to the point whereby you felt, okay, let's see. Fury has proven himself to be one of the greatest in that category, one of the greatest boxers of all time. It was a bit of a shock to some people and not so surprising to some people when Usyk actually won clearly. No matter what Fury wants to point out, yes, he might have won from round 3 to like round 7 or what have you. But at the end of the day, I don't think anybody can make an argument and say, oh, Usyk did not deserve to win that fight last week.
No. What are those fools saying it? The last time I checked, it was like 12 rounds of boxing, for crying out loud. So the fact that you won 1, 2, 3, it leaves you with what, 9 more rounds. So please do the maths. I mean, he was clearly beaten, and I think the only person on this podcast that actually saw it coming has to be maybe Bright. I mean, some of us felt like, you know what, we don't know, depending on what kind of Tyson we are getting, it'll be a very interesting fight. But from what I just saw, it just shows that, you know what, I don't know, maybe he's distracted. I don't want to use that as an excuse because that would be like me tainting Usyk's performance in that fight. So it would be so unfair to Usyk because he actually did tremendously well. And it was just a case of, you know what, he's a better fighter. He's motivated differently right now than any of those guys in the heavyweight division. And they all know that. And when they are coming up again to maybe fight him again, they'll be so aware that, you know what, we have to be twice as good as him, or nothing else is showing for us. Because really, it opens a whole lot of like questions now in that division. Like, okay, does that mean that Anthony Joshua is not that terrible of a boxer? Because there was a time they said, oh, you know what, okay, maybe he's losing his mojo when after the Usyk fight and all the likes. So with this now, like, Usyk beating Tyson Fury has opened up a lot of questions that, okay, you know what? Everything has, think of it like a board. Everything is all reset. You get, so anyone is still a case of, okay, you know what? Anybody is actually still capable of beating anybody. With the whole rematch going on right now, like, you need to go back to the drawing board and what can I actually tweak when it comes to the what my display or the way my performance went in that fight. So that's gonna be like, now I can say for a fact that, like, you know what, the heavyweight division is now interesting all over again, because there was a time it was losing its fun because they had to like fix maybe 1 or 2 matches a year. But with what we have right now, we can have about maybe fighters calling themselves out and trying to dictate when they want to fight and when and how. He just throws everything into like a whole lot more interesting facts right now. So anybody with what's your question?
I want us to go into the element. I'll come to you in a second, but I want us to go into like the technicalities of the fight itself, because that was the lightest we have ever seen Tyson Fury, and that was the heaviest we have ever seen Usyk. Tyson Fury had to drop a lot of weight. Then when you watch the fight to like round 8 to the 8th round, you could see the reason why Fury had to drop that weight, because Usyk might be undersized, but he can make you dance, and he has crazy endurance. He knows he has the ability to make you dance all 12 rounds. So it felt like, okay, that was the right strategy after a while for Tyson Fury, after he won the like 4 of the first 6 rounds, and it was like, okay, yeah, he's lighter on his feet. He's moving.
You said it because because if you think about it, like I feel it was the right approach. You said it all. I mean, there's really nothing to add, because if typically for fighters, when you had muscles, something is suffering for it, like your gas tank. That's the thing. It's just a trade-off. So it was the best approach. They handled it the way they felt.
But what about those that will tell you that if it was the same Tyson Fury of the same weight class, it would have packed more of a punch?
It's a lie. Let's not deceive ourselves, Jerry. Those guys that come up with different analogy, plain fact, you guys they set the rules already. The rules is that, okay, for the heavyweight division, this is how much you need to weigh, or you can't go past this, or there's a reason why they are called divisions for kind of loud. So come with your best. Come with scenarios that will give you your best chance to win the game or to win the fight. So any other thing that is not met in the process or in the requirement, forget it. Let's not start like dwindling somebody's performance based off on all of these rules. It doesn't make any sense. The guy won you fair and square. He chose the right strategy, and boxing is about strategy at the end of the day. Do I want to fight fast or quick? Then I have to lose some pounds, or do I want to gain so much so that at least I can take the punches? It's just trade-off at the end of the day. And the guy went with what makes sense, because let's be honest, Tyson took the whole. It's like they were just psyching each other. Tyson went down with the weight based off, okay, you know what? I need to be able to like go the 12th round, if you go the distance if possible, which makes sense. And this guy was like, Usyk was like, you know what? I need to gain more this thing, because what? That way I can, if at all I take punches, I won't just go down, like I won't be knocked out like and look silly. It's everybody different strategy, and as long as you have a reason that you can use to back it up, you're making the right decision. And that's the one thing about decision. What's your reasoning for it? If it makes sense, kudos. So after the fight, all of a sudden you guys are now like trying to trade off. Oh, if you had done this, if you didn't do this, it's a lie. No, we shouldn't do that. It won't fair and square.
LMJ, I know that, like Akin rightfully mentioned, you've been one on this pod to always mention the fact that Usyk has something that will surprise us, and he has done it. Now I'm wondering, okay, why have you always believed that, okay, Usyk has the ability to go to the top of that division, the heavyweight division, despite the fact that it's coming from cruiserweight? And when you look at the heavyweight division now, is there anybody that you look at and you say, okay, this guy has a chance against Usyk?
In all sincerity, the reason why I've always been a champion of Usyk is because it sounds cliche, but I once trained under a Slavic coach. He was a pro in the lightweight division, and the routine with which this guy trains, like the routine with which Slavic boxers combat sports, the way they train is is I would try not to exaggerate, but is miles ahead of the way they train in the West. And a very vivid example is the Klitschko brothers when they were at their peak. When they were at their peak, they were fast, they were technical, their strategy was top notch, it was precise. Like they could tailor strategy to specific opponents. Like this is who we are fighting, this is what we want to do. And they came with heavy punches. Like you can go and check these track records. Like the distance between them in combat sports is not always as close as in UK, in US. But whenever you have top fighters like that, they always dominate. That has been a trend with Slavic boxers. Not even boxers alone. Look at Makayev in UFC. Look at the Slavic combat sports guys. It's the fact that in their training camp, they have precise strategy. They have pinpoint places they want to touch. And that was what made the difference. From round 1 to round 7, I think from round 1 to round 7, it was like 5-2. And it looked like Fury had it in the bag. Baba got very cocky in the sense that, was it round 5? I felt like he should have landed more punches, considering that, one, you are heavier than this guy. Just keep punching him, keep pounding him, exhaust him. But he failed to realize that Usyk could take all of this hit. And he got cocky. There were times where he was holding the ring. For me, it felt very disrespectful. And I was telling people at that exact moment that he would regret this because he was in the whole build-up to the whole bout. There was an undertone. There was a vibe that Fury was giving. And I was like, this guy is not somebody you underrate. This guy is someone that can finish this bout in the 11th round. You could have won the whole 10th round, and in the very last or second to last round, it would knock you out. And if it was UFC, in round 9, the ref would never have come between them, and it would have given him a crazy TKO. Sure, you get like, but because it's boxing, I see a lot of new combat sport fans. They were complaining, no, this is boxing. At that particular point, they were supposed to stop the fight, and so it's the fact that these guys have strict regiments, they have strict training camps, they have routines that they go through that builds them, that builds their character, that gives them that mentality. It's a killer instinct. If you can just go back and rewatch the tape, there were facial expressions in his face throughout. It was almost like he was a zombie coming on a mission. You know what? I had unified cruiserweight. I am coming to unify this. Before his father died, that was what his father said, that you were going to do this. So it's almost like, as delusional as it sounds, when Arteta was saying, my brain told me that we lifted the cup, it's almost like that with Slavic warriors. They knew they are going to do it. And they almost see these pictures and they regurgitate these messages and it goes into their training camp. It's precise. Look at his footwork. His footwork was precise. At a particular point, get him to the corner of the ring and punch the hell out of him. That's like, it's almost like a playbook. But I felt like if Fury had been more serious, I know it sounds silly, but if Fury had landed his advantage when he had those advantage, maybe, just maybe. But you know what happens? This make way for a very good trilogy. Imagine a second fight where Fury wins, and you know how dicey this can be. And alluding to what Akin said, we've never seen, in a very long time, we've not seen heavyweight this exciting. I think it's good for the sport of boxing as a whole because it brings more attention, it brings more light. Who would have thought that a guy from Cruiserweight would just come and beat everybody? And now we are starting to say that AJ is not that bad. I still don't like AJ. I still think it's shit. At least finally, people are starting to say, okay, maybe AJ is not that bad. Usyk is just good.
And that's why he's not giving Nigeria as a country their flowers.
We don't need his accolade. He's those are fall for his gimmick.
You're not speaking for us. Why you say we?
Yeah, it's people like you that fall for his gimmick because
no one fought for his gimmick. That's what you first realize. I think this is the only time when it comes to boxing, I'm actually what's the word? I will say, I'll be like, I'm opposing your views. Now, this is the thing here. I feel like a lot of times AJ has been disrespected.
Yes.
Some will say rightfully so, and some will be like, let's not do that. This is the reason why I feel so. Let's not disrespect that guy. No one could have thought, or no one would have been so confident and say, oh, I want to share a ring with Klitschko. Nobody. I'm still saying it. See today, nobody. If they played that moment back again, and everybody were what they are currently, I'm still saying it. Nobody would have thought. And it was so easy then. Fans of the sport said, you know what? They didn't even give Anthony Joshua a chance. They said, you know what? Nah, forget it. The only thing the guy had to his to his reputation then was the fact that he went to Olympic and it was outstanding, and that was what he was holding on to for the longest time before that fight. But when the idea came in, when they discussed that, you know what, you might as well just like go in and just fight him, just to boost yourself, so that people can actually know you outside of the fact that you won Olympic. Because Olympic is more like, you know what, nobody knows anybody. Everybody are just like going by the flow because they just needed to add a medal to like a country. That was how he was spoken of then. And then he shares the ring with this person. He was knocked out at some point. They were like, you know what, the guy might as well just finish the fight. But then the guy just came back and it was almost as if, oh, wow, we haven't seen it. And from that moment, the sport changed. That division changed. It was opened up because, like I said, just the same way it was starting to look like the division is dying. That was the same way then. Because this guy was practically beating everybody, Klitschko. There was no worthy opponent at all.
I get what you're saying, but what you're failing to point out is, as AJ was the Olympic champion, but at that period before that fight, he was known as a knockout artist. He had all majority of his Dominic Brazil and the likes. He had defeated them with knockout.
Which is good.
There was no prominent fighter on the list. Yes.
Which is good.
Fighter on the list. But don't forget that Fury had beaten Klitschko. That's what I wanted to correct you there. Fury had defeated Klitschko before he went to his
I was going there too, but I just wanted
to... No. Yeah. Then, I was ignorant about that. Sorry, guys.
After Fury's drug issues. Yeah, after Fury's drug issues, the belt became vacant. And when AJ had the fight with Klitschko, the reason why even Klitschko respected him was Fury's antics and gimmicks were different from AJ and stuff like that. That was the first fight in AJ's career that he hit the canvas. The previous 22 or 25 fights or so, I think he had 24 knockout wins or so. AJ was a monster. He was a proper monster. He had
now
silly.
Wale, from what you just said now, people like Bright who still, after knowing all of these facts, still say they still don't respect AJ.
Akin, you are thinking.
No, I don't agree with you.
Akin, you are thinking I'm outrightly disrespecting AJ. No, that is not the case. My issue with AJ is the moment AJ got to the limelight, AJ is the most inconsistent heavyweight champion I've experienced in my over 14, 15 years of watching boxing. And that is my issue with him. Is the fact that the moment...
The question is, when did he start being inconsistent?
He started being inconsistent the moment he won. That was when he started misbehaving. That was
no. You guys labeled him inconsistent because of the Mexican fighter that beats him.
Andy Ruiz.
That was when you guys started saying it, though.
Let me just slow down. I want to buttress your point. I don't know if you guys watch Gary Neville's Stick to Football podcast, where he brought Eddie Hearn on. And they were asking Eddie Hearn about AJ and fighting Fury. That was like at some point earlier this year, so I don't remember the exact dates now. And what changed in AJ and what was the different thing about Anthony Joshua that changed? It was not the same guy. It was not the same knockout artist that we had seen at this earlier part of his career where he was beating people up and stuff like that. And Eddie Hearn said something like Elemente is trying to point out. As soon as AJ got to certain points in his career, he realized that there's more to this than fighting. I've made a name, I have success. I cannot fight the same way I fought when I had nothing to lose, where I just show up in the ring and I'm like, okay, let's go. Boom, 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 boom. If you punch me, I punch you. If you don't punch, if you can't punch me, I'll punch you harder or something. It was not the same knockout artist anymore. He became smarter. He started to tell himself that, you know what? I have more to lose now. There's something on the line for me to lose. He became a different guy. He was not the same. He didn't have the eye of the tiger like he had initially at the beginning of his career, whereby. So to an extent, let me just point his spot on. Like, Anthony Joshua became a bit inconsistent after he got to the peak, the top of the mountain where he had all 4 belts, but he couldn't unify the 5th one. But like at the end rightfully pointed out, it gets to a point whereby in your boxing career, your sports career, you tell yourself that, okay, there's no point in me doing all this if at the end of the day, when I retire, I cannot spend this. AJ became a different person completely. Like that's his manager talking about his fighter becoming a different person at that point and trying to adjust himself to be like, I have something to lose now. I'll become more of a technical fighter than an actual brawler. So yes, element that you have that in the bag. But what I'm trying to point out is AJ is actually disrespected because what he had done, this guy has lost 3 fights in his career. 1 to Andy Ruiz, 2 to Alexander Usyk. The rest of them, more knockouts than points. Like he has majority of his fights are all knockouts, and they are not the Chisoras, the Dillian Whites, the Brazils of this world were all knockouts at some point. Even Klitschko was a knockout. So I think we should put some respect on his name. It's not about whether he denies us or not. I feel like we've spent too much time on boxing. I think we just have to move on from this quickly. Bolish, I'm a huge fan of what's going on with Bayern Munich and Vincent Kompany now, because we live in a world whereby we've seen white coaches fail. Frank Lampard is going to fail, then get Chelsea job again. So Gerrard is going to fail, then get another job again. Another white guy is going to fail, they're going to call him again and be like, don't worry, you're a legend. Come and take another job. And now you could see people convulsing in the mouth that, why would Vincent Kompany, after Burnley got relegated, be linked with Bayern? It's madness. He doesn't deserve it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, at this point, I don't know what the meeting was about, whether it was style of play or whether it was how his career went or how dynamic he is as a person. Or I don't care. For me, black people don't get opportunities like this. In the top 5 leagues in Europe last season, Kompany 1, Vieira 2, Antoine Kombare came back to the French League 3. Those are the only 3 back coaches you can find in the top 5 league in Europe. 3 out of almost 100 clubs. Almost 100 clubs in top 5 league. You could only find 3 black coaches. So if people are going to go about saying, you know what, he shouldn't get the Bayern job, he doesn't deserve it, what has he done, blah, blah, blah. Me, I'm going to be extremely biased at this point and say, I know how tough it is for black coaches, and I do not give a rat's ass about it. Please, as much Kompany, if you're going to coach Real Madrid tomorrow morning, please take it.
I can't argue with your sentiment because you are clear that this is a sentimental statement and it's a bias, so I can't argue with that. And it's true. We've seen time and time again where white or other races, which is they get multiple opportunities to fail. You fail here, they sign you here. You fail here, they sign you here. You fail here, they sign you here. So that is a fact. But on the other side, so the thing is, at this point, I'm on the wait and see side. Okay, let's see what Bayern saw in Kompany. I think what they probably saw is his setup, the way his team plays. They feel like if they had better resources, for example, if his team Burnley had better resources to play the way he wanted to play, he probably would have better results. But the problem I have is the fact that he didn't think enough to be pragmatic in his decision making, meaning deciding that, okay, this is what I have in this squad right now. What can I do to get the best out of this result? And not just what can I do that is most fascinating. So that's the part that I'm not very comfortable with, because as much as you want to play fantastic football, there will come a time in the season, there will come a time in your career, there will come a time in some games where you have to play a particular style of football to get the best out of the players you have on ground. If he's playing that style of that, what's it called? He was stuck on playing that kind of football at Burnley, where they don't have the quality to pull it off, then it might be a problem for him in big, important games where he's not able to adapt. Because I would expect that he learns adaptation there, even if he has his own identity. But it got him the Bayern job, so I can't fault his logic and the way I set up the squad. I just feel like I'm not, as much as we want black coaches to get jobs, we also want them to succeed, because their success will also mean more opportunities for other black coaches. So I don't know if the Bayern job is going to be the best opportunity for Kompany to succeed. So that's because the Bayern job is a very fragile job. Nagelsmann was not the worst of the worst, but he was sacked. Even Tuchel, he's had a horrid season, but he still got the semi-final of the Champions League and he was sacked. So Kompany has to, so Kompany is going to a job where he has to, he has to do better than the last two managers, which is those last two managers. One of them won the league. He has to win the league. One of them got the semi-final of Champions League. He has to do maybe quarter-final or semi-final. He can't just go to the club and be average or just mediocre. So that's the would I say the get the gunpowder is stepping on. But other than that, we always root for someone like Kompany to get the job.
Yeah, I think both of them won the league. Both Tuchel and Nagelsmann won the league. Tuchel won the league when BVB.
Oh yeah, that's true. He won for last season when Dortmund messed up. Yeah. So you can imagine. Go on.
Yeah, I think my biggest fear for him, those some people might be foaming in the mouth and all of that, but I feel like I know it sounds ironic because I blamed him a lot for playing a particular style with Burnley because one, he was playing in a league that is more difficult than the Championship, and he should have adapted to the league to be able to survive the league. Because I felt if he had adapted that squad that he had to suit the English Premier League, he would have stayed up.
That result, yeah.
I must point that. But I saw him in the Championship, and his tactical awareness, the way he was able to adapt in the Championship, people fail to realize that managing in the bottom league in England is one of the hardest jobs any coach can take. And that is why I make fun of people like Rooney, because you've had chances after chances after chances to prove yourself, but it's just obvious that, Oga, you don't know this thing. And he still got the Plymouth Aga job. I think, was it day before yesterday or yesterday that they announced that Plymouth was taking him. So, it's a very brutal ground. Championship, League One, League Two, it's very brutal. And he proved himself there. But I felt he didn't adapt very well when he promoted. Now, my biggest fear is when he gets to Bayern, can he manage these guys? Can you manage these egos? Can you now manage the board? Because let us be sincere, the Bayern Munich board is one of the craziest boards you would ever see. Like from sporting director throwing bans at manager in the press conference to director of finance stoning somebody in a board meeting. Like when it comes to board, that is like the craziest egotistic board you would ever see.
To even buttress your points, on a normal day for clubs, you'd expect that sporting director would employ coach, sporting director and CEO. For Bayern, sporting director might say, I want this coach. The two people upstairs, Karl-Heinz Rummenigge and Leones, will say no.
They will say no.
We don't like to smile.
So even when it's fighting the battle,
board members,
it's not like they deserve it. They are just there as people that played well for the club and all of that. Like when imagine fighting for your life on the pitch, and whenever you get to the office, you would get like 6 calls that one honorable director is vexing for you. That why didn't you start so person? Like those are the kind of hierarchical war he has to fight. He has to fight on the pitch because if he's still going to manage people like Muller, those like are the major string in that club.
I don't think the pitch what's it called, managing egos, managing the pitch, I don't think that would be a problem for him because he has played with a lot of elite players and he has played at the highest level. So I think that aspect of it, yes, we are talking about the boardroom and the other aspects. I think that one is going to be very tricky. And it's in Germany. It's a completely new system, new environment. But I think in terms of managing the players, and you need to understand, he probably has a relationship with some of the players. Sane, for example, probably someone he probably knows. He probably has some kind of relationship with Musiala. Those are some of the players those are some of their main players. So and other than Muller, and Muller is probably on the last year of his professional career. I don't think Muller would be a stroke for him. I think the main problem is his ability to adapt, because you had a whole season to adapt Burnley to try to survive. You could not adapt. And then you are going into Bayern. If you play just one way in Europe, you'll be found wanting. You can look at the way Real Madrid played against Man City. It was completely different from the way they play against Bayern Munich in the second leg. So you have to be able to adapt and change your style from time to time. Yes, you have to have a foundation of how you want to play, but you can't be just 100% stubborn. You can't do that, especially for a coach that is just starting out. Sometimes you have to adapt from time to time, and the way he handled the Burnley job, I don't think he has it in him to be able to adapt. That's the problem I think he's going to have. But all in all,
Yeah,
he's a good
like Wale rightly mentioned, I wish him well, but he has to be willing to adapt. Like I mentioned before, that was one of the reasons why I antagonized him in Burnley, because he stuck to what he was doing in the championship. He was not flexible enough, and it actually cost the club because he's going to Bayern now. One, there's the pressure that Alonso, Bayern has to break this Leverkusen dominance immediately. Like it has to be immediate. If you, I watched their.
No, they'll do it in the transfer window. By the time they buy like half of the players now, everybody go there.
No, the funny thing is, I think Bayern has a very good core. Like, just continue the tradition of stealing like two players. Just carry Ritz, carry maybe
Frimpong.
like Grimaldo. That one is too anyway.
For Frimpong.
Frimpong, carry Adley, carry Ritz, and I think that should be good. So he has a very good core to start with, and I wish he does well because it is very important for this transition. Because if in case people don't know, the Premier League started in 1993, and there's always this transition that happens.
1992, sorry. Go on.
Sorry, 1992. So there's almost this transition that happens like every 20 years. So we are getting to that point where things would get disruptive, and we can see it with the way teams are changing. Like, this is not the Premier League I started watching. Let me just put it that way. And you can see that these changes is also happening across all leagues. Like, PSG is not as dominant as they used to be, even with the fact that they've shelved all the money they can shelve in this life. So I feel like within the next 5, 4, 6 years, we'll see people like Lyon, we'll see people like Olympique Marseille just come and shove PSG to the ground. And if Bayern is not careful, this might be the beginning of another powerhouse in the German Bundesliga. So I wish Kompany well because of the fact that people like Rooney keeps getting jobs and we have better black coaches.
Akin, speaking about coaches, I don't know if it came as a shock to you when Chelsea decided that Pochettino, you have done well with this squad that we built like as if we are trying to build house with mud. You found a way to get them to 6th place, a young team, and what have you. But it became a surprise when they were like, okay, we are sacking him or he's leaving or we cannot continue together. And I'm here wondering, okay, I'm not really surprised since Todd Bowley and clearly Capital, whatever it is that they came in, they've been playing Football Manager steady. They just they do it, they buy, they sack, they enjoy themselves. But now I want you guys to put on your sports director hats like you did a few weeks back. Akin, who is the new manager for Chelsea? Who should Chelsea choose? I heard there's a new guy, Kieran McKenna from Championship. 235 build up.
I don't even know. Well, that guy's name has come up. Like, they've made that guy relevant since this Chelsea thing started. I don't understand. I mean,
no. Yeah. I think it's a valid though the English media is crazy, but I think it's a valid shout because it took Ipswich and he gave them double promotion in just 193 games. So I think it's a valid call, but the English media, like Ten Hag said, they will take you up so that they can hammer you down very well. So I feel that's what is happening here.
Wait, moderator, can you guys keep me? Because I don't know. My own kind of sports director, like Bashe, can't see work. I would rather not be the sporting director of Chelsea right now.
Polish, it seems like the secret to becoming a manager these days is go and work for Guardiola. Like Enzo Maresca was Guardiola's former assistant, like Arteta. He has gone to perform wonders at Leicester, gain promotion. Now Chelsea are interviewing him. Sevilla wants him. Yes, he played for Sevilla during his footballing days. But it seems like, okay, Guardiola PA, Premier League job.
No, it's what's it called? How will I put it? It's a ripple effect of people wanting to tap from the experience or they have a feel. There's a feeling that if you work with this guy has been very, very successful. There's a couple of things that you will know that you will pick up from this guy that can help you yourself in your own journey. And it's the same thing everywhere in NBA. You know how many coaches that coach under what's it called, Pat Riley, that coach under.
It happens on the NFL a lot.
Greg
Like
Popovich, and then Shannon,
Shannon.
all the coaches that are coached under both Mike Shannon and even the one in
Shannon,
San
yeah.
Francisco. All of them, they get jobs. Like once they say, "Oh, this guy, he has coached under Sean McVay, he has coached under my." The only person that his tree is a bit poison now is Belichick. Belichick's tree is poison. The fruits that are coming from that tree, yeah, that contaminated fruits. But
Josh
generally,
McDaniels.
just what's the name of that? I'm trying to remember that defensive coordinator that became offensive coordinator at one time. This past season,
Matt Patricia.
this go that was Mark Jones, not Matt Patricia. There was one guy
Bill O'Brien.
that was Bill O'Brien. Like, anyways, as I was saying, if you have a successful thing going on where it looks like everything is organized, because one thing you can see, even if you are not a member of Man City squad, even if you are not in their dressing room, it looks like they are organized. It looks like they know what they want to do on the pitch every time they want to do on the pitch. It looks like most times, maybe not all the time, but at least let's say maybe 10% more than other clubs. They know what they are looking for in the transfer market. It looks like Guardiola has a tight lead on how he runs the team. So if you see something like that and you feel like, okay, there's someone that's been working under this guy that probably has a couple of that can bring something that we think we like from this guy, you would always lose. You don't, and he's not even, this is not the first time. Tito Villanova, what's it called? Ten Hag, Arteta, Maresca, as I said. Once you are attached to a successful manager, there's the likelihood of you getting opportunities is very good, very high. So it's expected it continues to happen. He coached with Pep for not directly, anyways. It was
I know,
Bayern.
but I'm just saying, like, let's not put his name there, please. Let's not start.
Wait. No. Who is what?
Who would you go for if you're in charge of Chelsea's for a new manager?
So first, I have to say that the decision was very rushed decision, because it looked like they don't have a grasp of what they are doing, and they made a very rash decision, because towards the end of the season, the way they were playing is not the same way they were playing at the beginning of the season. And then the squad, you have a lot of young players, a lot of very, very young players that you couldn't have expected that when you bring so many young players together like that, you're going to get the instantaneous results you wanted. So the conversation should have been a bit more geared towards, okay, look at what we have done. This is what we are doing. This is the plan for next season with Pochettino. Now that they have started, if they go and bring any Macarena, what's the name now? Macarena, they will not get top 4. Now it's true. All these ones, all these macaroni, all these. So Chelsea.
Even the name Joe Alliance Arena, Macarena.
Macarena macaroni. So Chelsea, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking of a big name, and none is really coming to my head. Tuchel will be available.
They don't
maybe.
They say they want a young, proactive, attack-minded coach.
Lampido.
Xavi.
Lampard. No. See, the problem is, I know Xavi will do well, but Xavi is a very strong character. The kind of conditions that they are setting in terms of how they want to be having input, because that's the reports that came out, that they wanted to be having input on coaching decisions, not back. They want to be telling the coach tactics, telling the coach. If you are going to be doing that, I don't think Xavi can take that kind of job.
Wait, who wants to be discussing tactics with? Who is worthy to be discussing tactics?
The guys are from yes, now they're from the US.
What does he understand about football?
He's not a football manager. You need to understand that.
Those guys are not ready for success. Then, in that sense, there's no world-class coach in this world. Not even Zidane can revive that Chelsea. If that is the case, the system is just so poor.
That's the report I think I read from both Sky and BBC. That was the report that came out why Pochettino left. That after the conversation at the end of the season, they they wanted to be having input on strategy, on what, and he was like, no, I'm the head coach. You can now start an input about transfer. I did not fight with you guys. But when he now start telling me how I would train my players, how I will play my players, that's where he drew the line and was like, adios. So I don't know the manager that will thrive in that kind of. That's why the name, that McKenna name came in, because the mindset is that if you bring in someone like that McKenna, it does not have a really big name yet. You can get him to agree to some of these ridiculous terms and then maybe see how it plays out.
So Wale, I would love to point out, last 2 weeks when we were saying be the sporting director of Man U, they were having brain add-on, they were having brain aggro, they were standing, their head were standing. Now solve Chelsea's problem. Everybody's
I can solve Chelsea's problem now.
Problem, big part of the problem is
Chelsea's problem.
Everybody is thinking. Think tank.
I can solve Chelsea's problem. Let me solve Chelsea's problem for you. See,
it's my time.
No, he doesn't want to. He wants you to solve Man United's problem. That's his conversation now. He's saying, no.
I can solve Chelsea's problem.
I don't want to solve Man
No.
When you were giving the chance to solve it, what you did was ban throughout. That was what you did throughout. You just banned it.
It was based on the energy you gave me. That's number one.
I was coming to you first now. I want you to choose a manager first, because with Chelsea's adverts of we want a young, proactive, tactical, like we want our own mini Guardiola.
And Man U already has the manager.
No, I'm saying like Chelsea's problem. They need to go and pick what's the name?
A former assistant of Guardiola. Yeah.
Manchester United already has a manager. The great Eric Ten Hag.
He was just minding when Guardiola was in charge. That's all.
He just won a trophy tiki-taka style against the great Manchester City.
Yes.
The great Eric Ten Hag just won a trophy in street style, defeating the great Manchester City with all their 115 tackles. He was able to pull down the mighty man.
Wale, what did you say? What did you say?
So you cannot tell me that.
To give it 6 more years. They want to rebuild.
Yes, let us rebuild. Trust the process.
6 more years to rebuild.
TTP.
Okay, so I feel somebody. I don't know what they mean by young, but I feel somebody that can.
Eric Ten Hag is a young guy.
Wait now, calm down, calm down. I think somebody that can suit the Chelsea job. I don't know what they mean by young. And I don't think there's much rivalry between Liverpool and Chelsea. Like, I don't think there's historical rivalry like that. So I think somebody like Brendan Rodgers can take the job. He's 51. I think 50-51. That is young enough. And I think he had a lot of interference when he was in Liverpool too that time. Like, so those terms look like something that can work for him. And we need to also appreciate the fact that this guy is not that bad. Brendan Rodgers is not that bad. I would have mentioned somebody like Amwari from Sporting, but that looks like something. He has a year left in his contract. Baba is so unsure. He's looking like he's eyeing some other jobs. So,
Celestine
Baba Yaro. Oh, she even get Mikel.
Since we are
let's get Mikel
back, brother.
Jose Pestero.
Wow. I mean, Jose Mourinho's prodigy, closest friend.
Yeah, now
they
from the tree of Jose Mourinho, Jose Pestero. He will do. He will do one after job.
We are becoming a joke. Only sports fans will stop taking us serious. We are becoming.
No. But before they stop taking us serious, I just need to make this statement. The reason why we're not serious with Manchester United is because Manchester United already has a coach. I need to make it clear. They already have a manager. They have a manager who just won the FA Cup in great fashion.
Who said that he has won trophies everywhere he has been.
Yeah, and who is in line to get at least a 3-year contract extension to continue his good work.
No, 4 years. 4 years. He's going to rebuild.
Lẹ́nu ọmọ àtẹ́tà náà. Ah, Ọlọ́run.
Sọ̀rọ̀ ní mí. Sọ̀rọ̀.
Before we round it up, the NBA playoffs are ongoing. I'm sure Bolish in 2 minutes.
Sorry. Before you
round
go
it up for us.
Moderator, sorry, before you go on the issue of another person that we owe an apology is also the moderator. Go on, you will find out why.
Why do we owe the moderator an apology?
Bolish, you have to. Bolish, you have the mic for 2 minutes.
Okay, so for the NBA players, I think just as an overview of the grand scheme of things, what's going on, I think we all assumed, or we all thought that the Celtics were going to run away with the Eastern Conference final. We knew that the Pacers, even though they were in the Eastern Conference final, they were not really tested because the Milwaukee Bucks were injured. The New York Knicks became the New York Hospital, and they could not really compete. So we knew that going into that Eastern Conference final, that the Indiana Pacers were not going to really put up a fight. And as much as we expected the Celtics to win, I think a lot of flack and a lot of Fulani Kane has to go to Rick Carlisle. He has pissed off that the game 1 and game 3. They literally were leading by 8 points. Is it 8 or 7 points? It's between 8 to 5 points with seconds to go in game 1.
Yes.
And just calling a timeout so that you advance the ball properly will have saved them the trouble of what went on, where they turn over the ball.
Jalen
Brown get the ball. No, before you get to that foul, the reason why you can't take up that particular position, TJ McConnell was also switch immediately so that Jalen Brown doesn't get the ball immediately, and so he can foul immediately. But it was late, so Jalen Brown already had the position. So if you foul him, he was always going to go up, and he could have caused a 4-point play. So I'm not going to. But that they had a timeout. You could have called a timeout, take the ball out of bounds, draw a play that makes it easier for your players to get the ball in. Because all you needed to do was successfully get the ball in. And the Celtics will have to foul somebody, and then you go and shoot free throws. But for some reason, you didn't call a timeout. I don't know. You want to take timeout for lunch. You want to take it to go and give your wife. I don't understand what you want to do with the timeout. So that's that. And even in the game 3, the same thing. You are down by 1. You have a timeout. You have 8 seconds. You just need 1 shot. Call a timeout. You literally have first timers in the playoffs, and you allowed him to dribble up the ball off the court against an experienced player like Joel Embiid. If they give me opportunity, Carlisle should be flogged. Like, this one is not even sack, or yes, you can't sack him because he got to the Eastern Conference final, but they have to take him to the back. Cause of Fulani merchants from Nigeria, they should come with their king, fly to Indiana, and I'm actually serious. I'm flogging.
We don't condone that there. We call it, harassment of any sort.
You don't condone killing. We flog him. Okay, it's gunshot you guys condone. What are you talking about? Please. Then for
they don't condone flogging, but they condone gunshots.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
But in the Mavs, what's it called? In the Mavs and the Minnesota playoffs, I think Chris Finch has made a couple of mistakes. Yes, Anthony Edwards and Katz has not played to the at least average level to keep them up. Because I think if those two play to their average capability, Minnesota defense is good enough whereby they can actually win some of the games that they've lost. But the mistake I think that Chris Finch has made, or Michael Nuri, what's the name of the assistant, has made, is that in-game, late-game situations, everybody in the arena was looking at that game and was saying, there's no way if Rudy Gobert is on the floor, Luka Doncic is not going to find the matchup. Like, that is the, and it's not even about Rudy Gobert. Anytime you have a very big player that is not very good mobile on the floor, and you need a bucket, you are going to want that matchup. I watch Golden State every time. once you have one big player that is on they will first try to find a way to bring the big player to Steph Curry. Oh yeah, let's dance. Let's dance. Let's
And it's the
let's,
fact that they were blaming Rudy Gobert as a player, like it's
that's
almost
why
as if it's unfair.
You see, I'm not blaming
I
Rudy
think yeah,
Gobert
like
because
you're right, because I was gonna say okay.
Let me tell you why I'm not blaming. Let me tell you why, because before you support me, let me tell you why I'm not blaming Rudy Gobert. You don't support me because why my reason I will do it for your reason. I'm not blaming Rudy Gobert because you cannot be better than what you are. It's good to see if you are in primary 2, I cannot expect you to be solving partial differential equations or Fourier transforms. No, I cannot expect you because they've not taught you, except you are a genius. So as good as Rudy Gobert is a good F-side defender. He's a good shot blocker, clean up the rim and everything.
Yeah.
But on the perimeter, Rudy Gobert in pick and roll defense, he has never been one of the best. There's a reason why a whole series for like the last 3 or 4 games, the coach could not play him. Utah Jazz versus Clippers. They had to take him off that. This is not working. They had to take him off that. No, that is because every possession he was put in the pick and roll, he was put in the blender, and they were working against him. So that I think at that point, especially at that last moment, especially when you have someone like Naz Reid who can move his feet better on the perimeter, I think that was a mistake. But I think this game this night, if they can still come back into the series, I don't think Miles will sweep. I think there are 2 things that needs to happen. Number 1, Anthony Edwards, forget about all the I want to mark Kyrie.
Yeah, that's a wrong no. He's not even playing. He's not even allowing me to play his own game. How will you want to mark Kyrie throughout the game?
You can't be one of the best finishers on the rim and you are shooting 60% of your shots from the 3-point line. You have to go into the basket. So the Mavs are ready to take it to the final, and they look like the better team. They look like, the more consistent team. They know what they need to do. They have the top 2 players, the players who take the shots. They have the players who defend, who only take corner threes. Like, they have it figured out how they want to play. The Timberwolves have to come to the party. The Cats cannot go AWOL. Against this cannot go AWOL. And you cannot.
I'm sure.
You cannot play Rudy Gobert for 35, 38. You can't play Rudy Gobert for 35, 38 minutes. You will lose in this matchup, because you need to understand that Kevin Looney is one of my best, one of the players I like the most in the Warriors. There was a series that he barely played last in 2022, and the next against against the Memphis, a couple of games he played because they had a lot of big guys. He was grabbing the mouthfuls. But the next series, when we wanted to go small, he barely played. It's like that. There are some players that in a particular series, the matchup nightmare doesn't work. You don't play them. And you have someone like Naz Reid that can pull Daniel Gafford and and Derek Lively from the ring. Pull them away from the ring. Make it easier for your guys to go into the lane. So those are the kind of things that I would expect to see in the game this night. But we'll see if
excuse me, everyone. I'm not sure if you've heard though, but it seems as if it's looking like there won't be there won't be trophy for Arsenal next season though. The latest news reaching us now is that Guardiola in the Guardiola camp, he's saying that next season will be his final season in EPL. So man might be going all out. Voila,
no, but
he might be going all out. So he said it's probably his last season.
Even if he did not say that, you guys are not winning.
He will be extra motivated.
You guys will deal with that problem next year.
Aki, I just come to the realization that no trouble for you guys for the next 5 years. I don't understand.
You lie.
When I mentioned it on my status, they all came from my neck like regular. They were like, "Oh, let me guy."
Look at who is talking. Where it was or no? Look at who is talking. Consider 2 ag. You think we don't know what 2 ag is? 2 trophies. Oh yeah.
I would get the league title before Arsenal. Okay, how about that? Like,
let's bet it. How much are you putting on it?
It's going to be on the public domain.
How much are you putting on it? How much are you putting on it? No, if you mention any money. 2K what?
Please. Please, we don't want any bet that'll take. We don't want any bet that'll take 10 years for us to catch out. Please, go and put your money in crypto or whatever.
Once done, 2 big bet. Nice.
We don't want to make bets that will take us 10, 15 years before we know the winner.
Let's put Barcelona in the conversation too. I don't know in the next 10 years.
In 3 years, we know the answer. Or 2. We don't play. We don't play.
Polish, I can't hear you. Polish, I can't hear you.
No problem. It's okay, guys. Please, before we call it a night, the Champions League final is next week Saturday. I probably won't be here we'll probably discuss the final after the game itself. So I'll just go around the room and ask for your predictions. Akin, who do you expect to win? Dortmund.
Real Madrid now. Why are we deceiving ourselves? The only person that I know Polish choice. Don't ask Polish. We know Polish.
I think I said this last 2 weeks that I expect Real Madrid to win convincingly. But we know where Polish stands, so
we know.
What is where Polish stands?
It's going to give us a very silly reason, like he wants Marco Reus to win it or something.
My business. Am I supposed to wait? There's nothing to be silly about not wanting Madrid to win the Champions League. I don't think that's any.
Really. 15
yes, now. So I don't want them to win it. So is that's not too silly now? That's my choice. You prefer Madrid. I prefer Dortmund today in this particular game. So
let it be known that Polish is a Barcelona fan.
As he used to own.
Yes, I own in my chest. You want me to say I want Madrid to win? Is that you want me to run mad? Like I don't understand. I should use my mouth to say I want Madrid to win Champions League. How does that work? Where will I, as in what realm will I put that? See, even if Madrid is playing, what's it called? Kosawa Cup against Imba, I cannot support Madrid. Even if they are playing Kosawa Cup,
no asking you to support them. They are asking for prediction. Who do you think will win?
I beg you, go sit down. All the prediction you have done, what did it turn out for you? All the prediction you did. Why do you end up nothing?
If we are talking about predictions concerning Champions League, none of us on this podcast actually was right. So yes, you're right.
Who is talking about Champions League? Do you know what?
Everyone thought Man City would beat them.
Do you know what it means to be right in Champions League? Do you know what it means to be right in Champions League?
I know how to deviate. I know how to deviate. You want to make it about that now? It's a lie. I won't agree. You won't speak on top of my voice. It's a lie. You won't speak on top of my voice.
Have you ever celebrated Champions League winning? Do you even understand what it means to win Champions League? Have you ever dreamt of Champions League? Champions League will win. Have you ever? Please, let's know what we are talking about.